My name is Andrew Stotson. I want to welcome you to another Valuation Master Class Professional final presentation. If you want to build a competitive advantage in company valuation, come to valuationmasterclass.com and do it. Make it happen. All right, I'm going to invite our student in. How are you doing? Are you ready to go?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Andrew.
I know you are. You've worked your butt off to get to this point.
Yes, I have.
The world doesn't know how hard you work, so you really did, I'm sure. How many hours do you think you did work to prepare, for the whole course?
The whole course, I don't know, about almost 8 to 10 hours daily, I would say, every day.
For 12
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, that makes it even more exciting to listen to your discussion about Starbucks. So I think I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to exit in just a second. And as soon as I do, then you take it over and present your research, okay?
All right.
So I'm exiting now. Go ahead.
Okay. Good day, everyone. My name is Timurua Williams, and I'll be taking you through my evaluation of Starbucks Corporation. I initiate coverage on Starbucks with a sell recommendation based on a target price of 86 US dollars, implying a downside of 13%. I derive my target price from a DCF-based valuation using a WACC of 9.3% and a terminal growth rate of 3%. My highlights are challenges in Chinese markets despite expansions, reaching more customers through digital revolution, and unionization of labor to reduce margins. My risks are economic and consumer spending trends, labor and workforce challenges, supply chain disruptions, and intensifying competition. Starbucks Corporation is an American multinational chain of coffee house and roastery reserves. It was founded in 1971 initially as a coffee bean wholesaler and was converted into a coffee shop serving espresso-based drinks in 1986. Owning almost 36,000 stores in 80 countries, it is currently the world's largest coffee house chain, with North America having its biggest markets contributing over 75% of its revenue. Challenges in Chinese markets despite expansions. Starbucks makes a bold move by accelerating its expansion into China, opening 500 new stores within a year. The company also introduced a localized menu that includes tea-based beverages and Asian-inspired snacks tailored to Chinese tastes. However, a series of political protests and trade tensions between the US and China led to a boycott of American brands in major Chinese cities. And also, local brewer including Luckin Coffee and Coty Coffee are gathering strength, leading to a drop in Starbucks China market share to 19% from a previous 39%. I expect that this will lead their revenue to decline to 6%. Reaching more customers through digital revolution. Starbucks, in their partnership with leading tech companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple, integrates artificial intelligence into their stores. With AI, Starbucks will offer hyper-personalized orders and customized recommendation via its mobile apps, increasing the customer experience. The app will also offer more seamless payment options, including integration and digital wallets and cryptocurrency. This transformation will increase customer engagement, strengthen its market presence, and drive long-term growth for Starbucks. Unionization of labor to reduce margins. Tensions have escalated in Starbucks as workers in several US cities have begun organizing to form unions, demanding higher wages and better working conditions. Workers at over 300 Starbucks locations in US have filed for union elections, with a significant number winning their campaigns. A large-scale unionization movement could lead to strikes and operational disruptions, and I believe that this could this if this continues, it could affect their margins. Then my quarterly data. In first quarter of 2024, Starbucks experienced a slight year-on-year revenue decrease of 3.2%. The company saw a 3.6% year-on-year decrease in gross margin and a lower year-on-year decrease in net margin of 3%. Starbucks reported quarter four recurring EPS of 80 cents, which was negative 25.7% year on year and negative 13.9% year on year. Then on the latest news, Brian Nichols joined Starbucks as new chairman and CEO of Starbucks. Starbucks partnered with Universal Pictures to celebrate the cinematic debut of Wicked. This partnership featured exclusive Starbucks beverages and merchandise. Starbucks appoints America Macaulay as its new chief sustainability officer, succeeding Michael Corbury. Starbucks announced that starting November 7, 2024, it will eliminate the 80-cent charges of dairy alternatives in its US and Canada stores. Constraints to growth. A company needs to grow to increase profits and share price appreciation. Management's core financial mission is to deliver this growth to increase value to shareholders. Since growth is key, I like to consider constraints to growth rather than commonly discussed growth opportunities. I see four main ingredients: capital, operations, markets, and people. I rank them from major constraints to minor constraints. Under capital, I expect their constraint to be neutral. In 2023, Starbucks cash conversion cycle was -4 days, improving from -3 days in the previous year and from a +1 day in 2020. Then under operations, I expect the constraints to be minor. Starbucks is not significantly reliant on any single supplier, which helps reduce its supply chain risk. Aside from the fluctuation in raw material prices, Starbucks takes control of most of its processes, including coffee purchasing, roasting, packaging, and global distribution. Then under markets, I also expect their constraints to be minor. Because while Starbucks direct competitors include coffee chains like Dunkin' and McDonald's McCafe, Starbucks still dominates the market with its differentiation strategy. Then under people, I expect their constraint to be neutral, given the competitive landscape for attracting employees, particularly in frontline roles. Starbucks regularly conducts anonymous surveys to gather employees' feedback on their confidence in company leadership and competitiveness of compensation and benefits. Then the revenue structure. In 2023, Starbucks generated a total revenue of 36 billion US dollars, with beverages accounting for the largest share of 60%. The food segment contributed 18%, while the remaining 22% came from other sources. Starbucks revenue is further divided between company-operated stores and licensed stores, with company-operated stores contributing 52% and licensed stores accounting for the remaining 48%. The majority of Starbucks revenue comes from North America, with which accounts for about 75% of total revenue, followed by the international markets. Then my FMVR. Starbucks appears to be little above average relative to 1,810 non-financial companies in the US, considering fundamentals, valuation, momentum. Under fundamentals, is ranked into strong profitability driven by high margin and a high asset turnover. Under valuation, it is neutral as it trades on IPE relative to other companies in the US market. Then under momentum, it is about average as both price and fundamental momentum have not delivered convincing results. Then under risk, the balance sheet risk is high as the net debt to equity ratio is high. Then in my portfolio forces, my overall ranking is 63%, and this is as a result of the rivalry among competitors having a 80% score, the bargaining power of versus suppliers having a 67% score, bargaining power versus customers having a 53% score, threats of new entrants having a 60% score, threats of substitutes having a 53% score. Under the rivalry among competitors with a 80% score, there are three factors that I consider. One, is no, Starbucks is the main leader and hence the score of 5. Two, is it a low growth industry? No, the consumer discretionary industry is not a slow growth industry, which is why I give it a score of 4. Then Is there some technological disruption going on within the industry? Yes, the consumer discretionary industry is experiencing significant technology disruption across several areas, hence the three score. Then under bargaining power versus suppliers, it's I gave it a 67% score with three factors in mind, which are one, do the suppliers have strong control of inputs that the company needs? And my answer is suppliers generally have limited control over Starbucks as the company has built a strong and diversified supply chain, which is why I gave it a five score. Then is it hard for the company to switch from one supplier? For Starbucks, switching supplier is generally not very difficult, hence the score of 3. Then would it be difficult for the company to backward integrate? Yes. So I give this a score of 2. Then under bargaining power versus customers, do the customers have many alternatives? Yes, there are other alternatives. Can this customer put pressure on the supplying companies? Yes, they can. Are the customers price sensitive? Starbucks operates in a premium brand with a focus on quality, so they are not so price sensitive with their products. Then threats of new entrants. I gave it a 60% score. And is it easy for any company to enter the industry? While entering the coffee industry is possible, competing at the level of Starbucks involves overcoming significant barriers. Hence, I gave it a score of 3. Then, can any company get access to raw materials and labor inputs of the process that start the business? I gave that a score of 3. Then could new entrants easily reach economies of scale to match current competitors' cost? New entrants will find it difficult to match the economies of scale that Starbucks enjoys. So I give that point a score of 3. Then threats of substitutes, which has a 53% score. And the three factors: one, are the customer switching costs low? While customers might suffer costs such as experience and quality derived from Starbucks products, the actual switching costs in terms of price are low. So I gave it a score of 3. Is there little perceived difference in products? The extent to which Starbucks is differentiated from competitors varies across segments, so I give that a score of 3. And finally, are there new competitors that can leapfrog current competitors' business model? There are emerging competitors that could potentially disrupt Starbucks by leveraging new trends or innovative business. So I gave that point a score of 2. Then moving to the team, we have Rachel Ruggieri, the executive president and CFO, who was the interim chairman before Brian Nichols stepped in as the new chairman of Starbucks. Then moving to my world-class benchmarking, profitable growth consistently ranked in the top 10% among 910 large companies, large consumer discretionary companies globally in 2023 and in the past 12 months. Profitability has also ranked in the top 10% from 2023, which was an improvement from rank 2 in 2022. Then asset efficiency, while growth was volatile through the period, falling to 5 in 2023 and in the past 12 months. Asset efficiency was consistent at number 5, then improving to the top 40 in 2023. However, strong expense control has more than offset the poor asset efficiency. Revenue growth dropped from number 4 in 2023 to number 5 in the past 12 months, while expense direction has improved from ranking number 9 to number 5 in the past 12 months. Their profitability is world class, while their growth is at average. Their asset utilization improved to the fourth decile, and their net margin is stable in the second decile. Sales growth fluctuated between the fourth and fifth decile, while their net margin change was volatile. Under ESG, I gave there are three factors under ESG: the environmental, social, and governance. And I gave them a total score of 87%, with environmental having 100%, social 100%, and governance 60%. Then under environmental, uh, does the company have a resource reduction policy? Yes, they do. Has the company faced any environmental controversies? None found. Does the company have an emission or waste policy? Yes, they do. Is the company engaged in emission in emission trading or any other way it tries to reduce its climate footprint? Yes, hence the 100% score in environmental. Under social, does the company have any health and safety policy? Yes, they do. Does the company have a human rights policy? Yes, they do. And does the company have a fair competition policy? Yes, they do, which is why they also have a 100% score for social. While for governance, does the company have board independence in line with or above the average? Yes, they do. And then is the chairman also CEO equivalent or equivalent? Yes, the position of chairman is occupied as the same person. And does the company have any shareholder rights policy? Yes. And does the company have any CSR sustainability or ESG reporting? Yes, which with which they arrived at a 60% governance score. Then for my profit and loss statements in my valuation, I expect that their revenue will increase to 37,000 from in 2025, and this is as a result of their expansion to tier 2 cities, which is also improves their net profits to 29,500 3,952 in 2025. Under the balance sheet, I expect that with their expansion into other cities, their net fixed assets will improve to 27,000 by 2029. Then under the liabilities, I expect that their debts will increase marginally through the forecast period as no meant to take any significant debt. To the cash flow statement, expenditure improve as the company is planning on moving into tier 2 and tier 3 companies. Then in my ratios, I expect that the gross profit margin would remain constant at 23%, while the EBIT margin will increase slightly by 14.5 to be around 15% throughout the forecast period. Then uh, moving to the revenue growth. The revenue growth, I expect that in 2025, the revenue growth will just be 4%, despite their expansions into tier 2 and tier 3 cities, given their issues in China. Then their assets growth improved marginally. And I expect that their dividend payout ratio is they will still keep on paying dividends throughout the forecast period. Then moving to the free cash flow data, their free cash flow to the firm, though they reduce slightly throughout the forecast period. Then my relative valuation, Starbucks is not displayed on the chart because it has no return on equity. And then on the forward 2025 PE multiple, Starbucks trades at a significant premium to the consumer discretionary sector in the US, Asia ex Japan, and the world. Thus, Starbucks seems very expensive on a PE basis, trading at a PE of 27.1. Then I assume a risk-free rate of 2% given the current interest rates fall and the market equity risk premium for the US market of 9%. Starbucks has been a high beta stock, so I assume a beta of 1, which is in line with its previous averages, resulting in a cost of equity of 11%. I forecast the capital structure with around 21% debt to total capital. This results in a WACC and a discount rate of 9.3%. I use a high terminal growth of 3% and a free cash flow of the firm because of Starbucks has significant capex for growth and may issue or repay debt regularly. In my sensitivity analysis on the following page, the optimistic case assumes a gross margin of 25%, resulting in a target price of 90 US dollars. Conversely, in the pessimistic case, the gross margin is assumed to be 21%, yielding a value of 80 US dollars. Then my main risk is economic and consumer spending trend. Starbucks is sensitive to economic fluctuations. During recessions or period of economic uncertainty, consumers may cut back on discretionary spending, which could reduce demand for premium price products like those Starbucks offer. Then labor and workforce challenges. Starbucks workforce is an essential component of its business model. Rising labor costs, labor shortages, and unionization effects could impact its profitability and operations. Supply chain disruption. Starbucks is heavily reliant on coffee as a key raw material. Any disruption in the supply chain, such as adverse weather conditions, droughts or flood, or geopolitical factors in coffee producing countries could lead to price volatility. Then lastly, intensifying competition. Starbucks faces significant competition from both global coffee chains such as Dunkin' and McDonald and local regional coffee shops. With this my valuation, I initiate the coverage on Starbucks with a sell recommendation based on a target price of 86 US dollars and applying the downside of 13%. And I derive my target price from a DCF based valuation using a WACC of 9.3% and a terminal growth rate of 3%. Thank you.
Excellent. Um, I want to first of all, I'm going to want to look at the price chart. So the big jump in the price from the low came when they announced the new CEO.
You said?
It did the jump in the share price that happened from 72 or so up to almost 97. This recent jump happened when they announced the new
The
CEO.
new CEO. Okay. Yeah,
Is
he
that
did.
okay? Okay. And when you looked at the world-class benchmarking scorecard, it showed that the revenue growth was just, about average relative to global peers, right? Which is
Yes.
pretty impressive considering how huge Starbucks is.
Yeah.
So, even their worst, as you said, there's a lot of negative things happening, but still, even with the negative things happening, growth has just moved down to average. So my question to you is, what's the possibility that the new management can really drive, strong future growth? And let's say
Uh,
above your expectation, or maybe above the market's expectation.
I believe they should still be able to drive growth given the status Starbucks has. They have a quite a good reputation already. So despite the negative things happening, I believe the company still has potential to grow amidst the challenges they're facing.
And if you think about, you mentioned at the end about competition from McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts, which, those
Yes.
companies are making better and better coffee, compared to in the past. And then you add
Yes.
in the competition from Chinese
China.
companies and all that. What's the possibility that maybe we're it's too hard for Starbucks to really get any strong recovery in revenue? Like, which would you think, that they have a strong possibility to accelerate revenue, or that they're kind of past their peak and it's just going to be hard for them to increase?
I don't think they are past their peak yet because even aside from having a boost in revenue, they have the capability to reduce their cost. They have a better advantage when it comes to their economies of scale. So I believe that should also play a part in how it affects their downline, their bottom line.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay. I mean, they got a huge amount of resources, cash, and even
yeah,
in a kind of a down cycle, the gross and EBIT margin are still strong. So how does it feel to
yeah.
graduate from Valuation Master Class?
It feels wonderful, wonderful, and I didn't think I was actually going to get here when I started this. And I can say I'm really proud of myself. Yeah. So and I'm happy.
You
I'm
should
happy.
be.
It's finally happening.
Well, you should be very proud of yourself. Not many people can make it to the end. How would you
Yeah.
describe, what skills you have now compared to when you came in, and that you
Uh,
could offer an employer?
I would say for research, the way I research now is different from how I would have done it before I started this. I think I'm now able to go more in depth and know what I need and how to look for what I need. and yeah, and majorly valuation. I didn't know much about valuation before I came in, but now I can say yeah, I can do that.
What would you say to a young university student that says, "Oh, I don't need to take valuation master class because I already learned valuation at school"?
I would say there's always more to learn. There's always more to learn, and it is learning is not too much. So learning can never be too much. So I would advise that yeah, still go for more.
Mm,
What you
mm.
think you might think you already know enough, but you'll be surprised what is out there. So yeah, keep learning will be my advice.
Yeah, I mean, I keep learning, that's for sure. Uh, Another question I have is, did if you think about your future and what you want to do, did attending the valuation masterclass help you to either feel stronger about what you thought you were going to be doing in the future, or change the direction that you thought you want to go? How did it affect the way you're looking at your future?
It has definitely helped, and I think it has pushed me closer to where I picture myself. So yeah, it has. It's definitely the right choice. I definitely made the right choice
Mm,
attending.
excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. All right, well done. You should be very proud. That was great,
Thank
and
you.
congratulations. I'm
Thank
gonna,
you very
I'm gonna,
much.
yep, I'm gonna take you out now, and then I'm gonna talk to the audience for a couple of minutes. But I'll see you in the Slack channel.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
Andrew.
Yep. Well done. Well done. Well, that was great. It's really challenging, Starbucks, trying to think about, is it just so huge that it can't accelerate its revenue growth? Or has it got plenty of opportunity to accelerate its revenue growth? Depending on how you answer that question, I would say depends on whether you think this is a good price to buy it at. Based upon that research and the follow-up answers to the questions, I would say, yeah, maybe we wait for a little bit. Maybe the price comes down a bit, but even at this price, and even though there's some downside, maybe it's worth it to go. So yeah, Umesh says it was knowledgeable. Well, yeah, definitely, that was a lot of detail into that. So if you want to build a competitive advantage in company valuation, why not join us at valuationmasterclass.com and make yourself